Somebody besides Paul and Nolan needs to wake up in St. Louis and get a hit.
I think Carlson's coming around.
All right, welcome to the BVSA Sports Show. This show, we're going to get the updates on the past week of sports. This year, it's big baseball time. All the other sports kind of ended, so all we got for you is baseball updates, what's going on with the world of baseball. We'll give you a little college baseball update as that World Series is going on. So let's start with the recap of this past week. And the first thing we'll talk about will be the hottest team in baseball, which is the Cincinnati Reds. I don't know if anybody would tell you before the season that on June 21st, the Cincinnati Reds would be on a 10-game win streak, leading the NL Central. Pretty crazy stuff. Haven't been on a 10-game win streak since 2012. So pretty good stuff there for this Reds team. A lot of young talent there.
Yeah. McLean, LA coming up, and even their like second and third year guys now really producing.
Yep. India really coming back strong.
Yeah.
He's always been solid after that Rookie of the Year campaign, but last year was, obviously they had a 100-loss season.
Yeah.
But now he's making impacts like no one would expect him to right now. And let's talk about Ellie De La Cruz for a second here. So that call-up was monumental for that team. He obviously, was he number one or number two? Was he behind Jordan Walker in prospects? Was he number one?
He was 4 at the beginning of the
He
year.
was, but he moved up. I think he was 2.
Once Walker got promoted,
so then he
graduates the list.
Yep. So he was the number 2 prospect in all of baseball. The Reds were already playing good baseball with Matt McLean. He might be an all-star. He's playing real well. So they come in and get this guy, Ellie De La Cruz, who's 6'6". How much does he weigh? 240?
Yeah.
He's the fastest man in baseball, self-proclaimed fastest man in the world. Hits the ball 110, throws the ball 100. Freak of nature. He comes up and hits a ball 460 feet in this first game, right? Third at bat?
Yeah.
And has not looked back in it. He gets an infield hit, and what seems every time I watch him play, he homered last night too. He just makes the difference for that Reds team. They're unbelievable right now.
It's chaos baseball. He is helping really provide an extra spark that they already had going, and now it's even that much more.
And they finally got Joey Votto back. And what does he do? In his second at-bat, homers. You kidding me? What a beast. So we'll have a lot more about the Reds throughout this episode as their major talk in MLB right now. So another big thing that happened this week with the College World Series is going on. And one of the big things that happened recently was about, I think it was Saturday. Was it Saturday or Friday? Matt Hogan hit the first inside the park home run in the College World Series since 2001. 22 years since I've been alive. Pretty crazy. And that was a pretty wild play. Ball bounced over the left fielder's head, kind of ricocheted all the way back towards shortstop, and the center fielder overran it, and he had no chance. And did you notice at the end of that play, when the center fielder got the ball back in, shortstop turned it off, and he kind of turned around like he was going to run the ball in, and he didn't notice that the guy was going home. Like it took him a split second to realize, oh my God, he's breaking. And the throw was late. Didn't make the play.
Where's the communication on that play then?
It certainly was a loud stadium.
Your teammates gotta be screaming at you.
Yeah, that's true. You need more from the catcher, I guess, but that's wild. That's wild.
The whole team.
Everyone, everybody.
It's not everybody, but it's a big moment.
That's crazy. So we do have the video of that one, but I don't know if we can do that. So another interesting play, shifting back to the MLB, last night in the Rangers-White Sox game. Close game, 6-6 ball game. I believe it was the bottom of the 7th inning. Bottom of the 8th inning.
Yeah.
Oh, so even crazier. Bottom of the 8th inning. Rangers are in the field. There's 2 outs. White Sox rookie shortstop, Zach Remillard, up to bat. Runner on second base. Go ahead run. He smacks a base hit to left. Runner's running around third, coming down. Throw comes in from Jankowski. 1 hopper on the money. Jonah Heim kind of has to do a little scoot to his left.
Yeah.
Makes the play. Puts the tag down. Out at the plate. Saves the run. Go into the 9th inning. Tie game. Nope. Challenge comes in from the from the White Sox dugout, which, I guess I understand. Bottom of the 8th inning. What do you have to leave? Close play at the plate. It honestly almost looked like Elvis Andrus got in there safely. Yeah. So they look at the play. They look at it, and the umpires come back and determine that Jonah Heim was disrupting the path of the base runner. That he was obstructing the lane of the base runner, and they automatically ruled the play safe.
Which, as I read the rule, it's a discretion of the umpires for that rule. But watching it over and over again, He gets the ball in time to be in the position. The throw also takes him to that spot, and never in that play did Andrus not have a lane to slide. It just changed from the traditional lane on the backside of the plate to your front side.
Yeah, exactly. So Jonah Heim was set up almost to the right-handed side in fair territory of the bat, giving him that backside lane like most catchers do. As the one-hop throw came in, because Jankowski's a righty, the ball kind of took it up the line a little bit. It tailed on him. So that one-hop throw forced Jonah Heim to take a couple steps to his left, where he was now towards the back half of the plate, where the whole front side, where he just was, towards the field, was clear for the slide of Elvis Andrus. So I'm not really sure what they saw there. I'm not really sure how they could have determined that he was in the way there, but I mean, crazy call. Sure, it's going to be talked about a ton.
Well, I saw a lot on baseball Twitter, like worst call of all time at the plate, like all these things, and I'm sure there are plenty that we can argue with, but that's going to be a big one moving forward if all by discretion, they're infractioning the rule, like didn't give him enough time to adjust his sliding position.
Yeah. I just think that's pretty much should be made on the field. I don't think that they should go 20 minutes into replay and make a call from New York like that, because it should be, like you said, it's an umpire's discretion play. So I don't know. I feel like that with the whole review, it kind of took away from that fact, and it made it seem as if New York was taking over.
It also takes all the momentum out, everything,
the entire city.
And now the Rangers go into the top of the ninth where they need to string together some hits, completely deflated on the fact that they probably feel like they got robbed of the game.
And without their manager.
Yep.
Crazy. All right, so we'll have more on that and that game later, but that's just an interesting play that I'm sure will be talked about more to come. So, another interesting thing that happened in baseball, not Major League Baseball, but minor league baseball. The farthest home run in game ever hit, tracked by StatCast. A full 514-foot home run by Joe Adell last night to tie the game, actually, in the bottom of the 8th inning. 514 feet. Imagine that. That's ridiculous.
He's got incredible tools. He's the king of AAA right now.
Yeah.
Jared Kalanick was that way last year, and now he's finally producing at the major league level. Maybe we're 1 year away from seeing that production from Adell. Because at one point it was supposed to be Adell, Adams, and Trout in the outfield.
Yeah.
Adams completely fell off. Adell has been up and down his entire career. Maybe we're a half season away from seeing a little more Joe Adell.
Maybe. Let's not forget, about 2 weeks ago, he did get called up, but the first pitch he saw, he hit it 117 miles an hour, 456 feet down the left field line. So, there's potential there for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
He's
potential.
a specimen. He can go get it.
I feel like when I watched him play last year, it was a little bit more defense. Like, it was the defense that wasn't always there. Like, he'd make a shaky play every once in a while, but then the next day he'd make a web gen. I feel like if he could just like even that out and make it a little bit more consistent, he'd be up there more often, especially with the Angel scene that really, in recent years, could use all the help they could get.
And
Shohei
to get
Trout
actual
close.
true outfielders out there.
True.
You got Taylor Ward out there who, nothing to scoff at. He's learned the outfield and picked it up pretty well. That man was drafted as a catcher.
Yeah.
He went from catcher to third base, all around the infield to the outfield.
Yep. And he's been having injuries too.
Yeah.
So that's not easy also. But, Joe Adell looking promising, crushing 500-foot homers in the minor leagues. All right, and the last part of our weekly recap I got here was our outfield play of the week. All right? So the outfield play of the week we got was from 3 days ago now, sorry. George Springer against the Texas Rangers in Arlington made one of the best plays I've seen by a right fielder this year. It looked like he covered 150 feet on that play and absolutely laid out, sprawling into the right field corner to take a double away from Nathaniel Lowe.
Yeah.
That was a ridiculous. Did you see the alignment on that play?
Yeah.
Did you see where he was lined up?
Wild. But you have a center fielder playing right field for you.
That's true. That helps.
But that entire outfield, outside of they say Varsho's a center fielder, you have some really athletic guys that can go get it in that outfield. And now you're putting Springer with Kiermaier, who now they get to work together. So Kiermaier gets to share his secrets, what he does to be so effective. Springer only gets better from that.
That's true. Springer started that play in right center. If he was playing center field and he was shaded towards right, I would have believed you. And he made that play on the right field line on the warning track. He's a freak. He's a freak. I got to watch Kiermaier play a couple times when Kirk Sally was on the Rays and we went down there. Watching Kiermaier roam the outfield is something else. Even watching Kiermaier take BP is something else. He just does everything, at least defensively. He does everything at a different level. It's like he's a step ahead of everyone else in the entire state. It's unbelievable. He really is an unbelievable defender. Kevin Kiermaier, I hope you make your first All-Star game this year. Phase, right? How has he never made an All-Star?
That's kind of wild to think about, because even in his great hitting season,
I know.
you'd think he would have like squeaked in there.
I know. You heard it here first. I hope you make your first All-Star game.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we're going to go to the MLB Surprise teams this year. Because now we're about 75 games through. Almost every team has played 75 games up to this point. We're getting there. But
We're basically at the halfway.
yeah, we're pretty much there. So, Virg, what do you think the surprise positive teams are throughout this?
I'm wearing one.
Still, though? Still?
I'm rocking with them.
Yeah?
That entire division's been shaky. I think we can go back to an earlier episode. And
Yeah, I've just been talking about the Rays.
no,
I mean, the Reds, sorry. the Reds.
I know. So there was an earlier episode I think I did with Joe and Matt where I said the Cardinals are like the surprise team for everything.
Mhm.
And with them faltering and that pitching staff not being the same and not being able to control the game and their hitters just unraveling.
Yeah.
The fact that Tyler O'Neill's being talked about in trade rumors already. Like, with that team falling, that division went from theirs to wide open. Pittsburgh ran with it early. They're still kind of there. There's positive signs for O'Neill Cruz coming back from his fractured fibula.
Not until after the All-Star break, though,
But
right?
still, you still have positive signs of that coming back. That's a spark. That's a Ellie De La Cruz spark.
Yeah, he's like, they're almost the same.
They're very similar. But in that division alone, you have the Reds, you have the Pirates, you have the Cubs outplaying their
They're
expectations.
playing good right now. They're
Yeah.
playing good baseball.
If anything, the Brewers have allowed it to happen because, and you could have saw that coming with how they treated Burns in arbitration. You knew something was not going to be right. But
Well, his last start, he gave up 6 in the
yeah,
first.
it was. I will commend him for going 4
Yeah.
or plus, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, he stayed in that
He's,
game.
like, he's a good, he'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I mean,
You
that was crazy. I
You
was
have 3
unexpected.
surprise teams right there, let alone the best of all of them is the team that put up those 6 runs against them. First place Diamondbacks.
True.
That team is exciting.
That's my surprise team right
Yeah.
there, the D-backs. Who had the Diamondbacks? What are they, 10 games over right now? Almost?
Yeah, it's
About 10 games over 500, leading that division by 3.5 games. Whoa. Like, what's going on?
Over the faltering Padres,
Padres.
the Dodgers that are spending astronomical numbers to continue to put a competitive team on the field, the Giants, who you thought would be good.
Another Giants team in my surprise team. They're above 500. They just jumped ahead of the Dodgers. The Dodgers are in third place in the NL right now. It's Diamondbacks, Giants, Dodgers.
I think looking at the list that we've talked about, I think as it stands right now, 4 teams out of last year's postseason are currently in playoff spots. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of young, exciting teams making their way through. I could see the Diamondbacks holding on.
I could too. Their pitching has been very good. Zach Allen has been great. Merrill Kelly has had a good year.
Yeah.
They have a good bullpen. Andrew Chafin's good at the end of the bullpen. I like them, but they have a lot of good young guys.
I think they get one more arm for their bullpen. And
That's a team that needs
maybe
to
a
make something happen.
corner bat. Like, I don't want to take anything away from
Well,
Christian
Christian
Walker
Walker's good.
because I love him.
Mhm.
And I love Longoria. I've got nothing bad to say about him. You need a, like, true
Every day.
differentiating bat.
An everyday bat.
Yeah.
Because Evan Longoria is not going to play every day. Like, you got one at first with Christian Walker. He's good. He'll give you 25, 30
Yeah.
runs. But
Right now, they have Emmanuel Rivera playing a last third.
yeah.
And
They're
he's
gonna need an
a
everyday
couple
third
years
baseman.
away.
They're going to need an everyday third baseman to make this happen.
Yeah.
But a lot of promise there with that D-backs team. And similarly as the D-backs, I think the Orioles. That Orioles team is good. That Orioles team.
I don't
is
think they're
very good.
firing on all cylinders yet.
No, I don't think so either. And they're sitting there nestled right under the Rays.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. And with the Blue Jays not really putting it together for a long period of time, the Yankees faltering right now, I think it's only getting better for the Orioles.
And that AL East is still going to be competitive, though.
Oh, yeah.
No one's going to give up in that.
Red Sox are 3 games over.
I'd like to see what happens to the Blue Jays when they get Manoah back. Let that be their spark plug. That energy.
He can figure that out, though.
Oh, yeah, but
I've never seen a guy fall off a cliff like that in my life, like recently, like that. That was insane. His every start he had this year that I watched him pitch in, he looked helpless. He actually looked. It was insane to watch. Because last year he was dominant. He was striking out 10 guys a game. He was going deep into ball game. He can't get out of the first inning anymore.
yeah, that his last start was the worst of all of them.
And I didn't think that this was going to be so much of a thing. The pitch clock looks like it's really affecting him.
So the pitch clock was his big thing.
Yeah, it looks like it's really affecting him.
It made him work so much faster, where he had big times in between.
Yeah.
And his fastball slider usage also changed over the last year. Like, it's going to affect everybody differently.
Well, you know what's interesting about that, right? She did take a lot of time in between pitches. You know who took the most time on average in between pitches with runners on base last year? Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
He's still doing pretty good.
When you're Shohei, I think you figure it out.
I guess so. He's a different person, sure.
But he's definitely not the same as he was last year on the mound.
No, but he's still putting those numbers
Oh,
up.
yeah. He's top 5 in Ks. I think the only thing that isn't high is his win total.
Yeah.
And all his pitching stats. His ERA is slightly over 3. Yeah, true. But the Angels are in a playoff spot.
Thank God.
If you end the season right now, Angels are in the playoffs.
Let's talk about one more surprise team that I got here that I don't think anybody was really expecting to be doing what they're doing. And they're kind of being led by a historic Superman figure right now. Luis Arias is hitting .398 right now, just a touch under 400. And the Marlins are good. The Marlins have won like 13 of their last 15 games.
It's very reminiscent of the COVID season of like, why not us? Why not us and just go out there and
Either something the COVID season Marlins.
Yeah.
This team's better than that team.
No, I know it is, but I'm saying that's the same like energy I'm getting from them.
Yeah.
That like, why not? We're going to go play. We got the stars. Yuri Perez last night was literally shut down baseball.
He's so good. That guy is 20 years old. He's born in 2003.
Yeah.
Yuri Perez was born in 2003. I saw his first career start. I'm 2 years older than that guy. He went 6 scoreless. I'm like, what?
Imagine what that rotation can be. And Sandy's not having the same season.
Sandy's got a 5 ERA.
Yeah. That's an exciting team.
That is a very exciting team.
Talking about from all the surprises to where teams are faltering, the Twins, who are right now leading the AL Central under 500
games under. The Red Sox are 3 games over in last place.
Also, as of a few days ago, when Arise passed the 100 hit mark, the Twins had no hitter over 60 hits. Correa was leading the team with like 51 to 54. No one else. So great, you go get Pablo Lopez. You go get your
Star took a week off for mental health.
You go get all that. Nobody's sitting on your squad. Nobody can stay healthy. Nobody's doing
And now everyone on the Marlins hits because it's contagious.
Oh, yeah. So you got surprise team of the Marlins, and you have the team that surprise traded him away.
Yeah.
And no one in that division can play.
No one can hit. No one, not a singular person. Not a singular person.
While Frankie's doing this, Harvard's going to find a way to put all 100-plus hits of Verizon in during the season. Just quick little hits.
Welcome 24 too.
Yeah, welcome 24. Or if not, just his 1 home run so far.
2. He hit another one.
Oh, yeah.
He hit another one last week.
All right, there we go.
And he pulled it. He hammered it. That guy can hit home runs when he wants to. He's not just, he can do what he wants. That guy doesn't.
You're saying he's Ichiro right now?
Yeah. Pretty much. He's basically Ichiro. He doesn't have that power. I mean, Ichiro had more power.
Because the Ichiro of anything
hit home runs.
is Corbin Carroll. We'll go back to the best surprise team.
Okay, true. That's true. Okay, but first of all, let's talk about that Marlins lineup for a second. We got Arias and Soler. Brian De La Cruz is good.
Love Brian De La Cruz.
Brian De La Cruz is doing very, very well.
Yeah.
They just called up that young guy, Jacob Amaya, to play short. They need a shortstop. They got John Birdie playing there, who's not an everyday shortstop. If he plays well, that's different for that team too. That makes that team even better.
And they have more guys in the minor leagues ready to cut.
Yeah.
This is even after trading away some of their guys too. Like Flade, who's on your A's or in your A's minor league system right now.
He's there. He's on the team. I saw him homer. He homered.
I love him.
He also hosed somebody out at third when I was there.
You went to some good games on it.
I did. All right, so now we talked a little bit about the surprise positive team. Let's talk about a little bit about the surprise negative teams.
I already mentioned one. Those Cardinals.
Oh, that was the first one on my
Flip
list.
it, make me look like an idiot. Like, I was really
I said the same thing. Like a month ago.
They went out and got their catcher. Their
got
catcher
better.
then at one point said, "I'm not a catcher anymore, and we're not going to put me behind the plate."
That was the coach.
Yeah, well, Marmal's had his own struggles of handling this team. Tyler O'Neill, the whole thing. You have the last year's MVP, an MVP hopeful in Arenado, who's still doing what Arenado does.
Both him and Goldschmidt. They haven't skipped a beat.
No, like that team, their bullpen also hasn't been the same.
Nothing about their pitching staff has been the same.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe how bad that Cardinals team is right now.
Yeah.
When you look at their roster, when you look at that lineup and you look at who they have playing, how can they be so far under 500?
All let's look at the back of the baseball card, and you got numbers after numbers after numbers, like consistent guys.
They're going to need somebody besides Paul and Nolan. Somebody without the name Nolan. Nolan Gorman, maybe.
Even Paul DeYoung's had a return to normalcy.
You're right.
season.
You're right. So it's Paul Goldschmidt, Paul DeYoung, Nolan Gorman, Nolan Arenado.
Yeah.
Somebody besides Paul and Nolan needs to wake up in St. Louis and get a hit.
I think Carlson's coming around. Yeah,
Carlson did have 2 homers yesterday.
Yeah,
He had 2 homers. He had a homer from the left side and the right side. But, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? Hicks is throwing 104. He had a 104-mile pitch yesterday.
Yeah.
Come on. We're going to need more than this. It's their worst season since 95.
Jeez. Different disappointment that just had a 35-year-old Hulk throw 104.
Oh, boy.
Royals.
Mets? Oh.
No. Forget the Mets for a second. The Royals, who are supposed to take a step forward with Bobby Witt, have all this talent, are playing all these guys. Name Salvi.
They're worse than us. They're worse than the A's.
Yeah.
They are.
You
hear that?
You gotta find a way to be more competitive. But that entire Central Division, as I said earlier, like everybody's a disappointment right now.
Yeah.
You have all this potential in Detroit with their players. You have all this potential in Kansas City with their players. You have the consistency
Cleveland.
of Cleveland. Like, I could very well see Bieber getting traded at the deadline. That they say this is the blow-up season. Let's go get what we can get for Bieber the same way they did for Kluber. Because let's not forget, they turned Kluber into Class A. And Class A is now the best American League closer.
Yeah.
And second best in the league, I would say, to Alexis Diaz.
You know Edwin Diaz?
Oh, Alexis.
His brother.
Yeah.
Not this year, right now.
Yeah, right now.
Oh, yeah. He's lights out.
He's got,
They're
what,
the same.
23 or
They
24?
throw exactly
Oh,
the
yeah.
same. That's crazy.
No,
Yeah.
you want to talk about a different disappointment?
Let's talk about the
Mets.
Mets. Yeah. The Mets. Oh, my God.
Stevie boy, it's time to open up that checkbook again. See what else you can go get.
I don't understand. Like, as an A's fan, watching the Mets be this, it hurts me to watch the Mets be like this as an A's. Because the A's, sure, we spend, our team right now makes $27 million as a total. That's our payroll.
What was
for
that,
this year.
15 less than Scherzer's getting for this year?
Yeah.
Just from the Mets, let alone his other contracts?
So our whole entire roster for this season is getting paid less than Scherzer is for this season. What's Scherzer's ERA? He had a good start to today against Houston, but what's his ERA? Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. We have our highest paid player. Our highest paid player is Trevor May.
The former Met.
And the former Met, but he's terrible. But they're paying their team this season. I think Steve Cohen's paying over $500 million for this team because he's paying $380 million for the roster for this season.
Yep.
And then he's got to pay, what, $150 million luxury tax? So that's over $500 million for this season. That's more than the A's have paid on a team since 1950. Like,
Were you adding all that up?
yeah, our entire roster every year for 50 years. That's this season for the Mets. And they're 3 games under? That's insane. That might be worse than what the A's are doing, honestly.
No, because what the A's are doing is planned by their degenerate owner.
Yeah,
Well, just doesn't want to put out a product.
He doesn't even want to try 'em. So that's a different story. That's a whole podcast dedicated to that. I can go a whole day about that one.
Can't wait for Vegas.
No. But another one we touched on too, another disappointing team that we touched on, but need to dive a little bit deeper on, the Padres. The Padres lineup is an all-star team lineup.
Yeah.
They're basically Team Dominican Republic in
Close.
the World Baseball Classic. Fernando Tatis leads off. Soto hits second. Manny Machado hits third. You got Nelson Cruz in there. You got Bogarts in there. Again, that's not Dominican heroic, but I mean, that's an all-star lineup.
You're forgetting Cronenworth.
Cronenworth, Ha-Sung Kim. What is going, like, they need to be better than 500. Is that pitching staff that bad?
Well, it's not just the pitching staff. You can look and say, Manny Machado has not had Manny Machado season.
Nope.
Soto has not had what he was supposed to be when they traded that package away, and that package
He's starting
is
to
now,
turn it on a little bit, though.
Oh, this past weekend, yeah, totally. But not the same. Trent
Tatis is
Grisham,
still doing it,
you
though.
can't have your gold glove center fielder hit below 200.
That's what he
And
does. though.
expect
He did
to-
that last year.
Yeah, but when Machado's having a Machado season,
Yes.
you have all these pieces that just aren't clicking right now. They have a black hole in the catcher's position because there's no production that comes out of there.
Yeah.
He might be great defensively and can control pitching staff. That pitching staff's not executing. You give Joe Musgrove all that money. Not the same.
No.
Hugh Darvish hasn't even been the same.
Still in
And
this
their-
start
and their-
recently?
And their bullpen is not shutting down games. The past, 2 nights in San Francisco?
Yeah. Oh, 2 nights. Yeah, they walked in the game-winning run yesterday.
Yeah, and then
And Yastrzemski hit one into McCovey Cove
Yeah.
the other night. Yeah, I mean, they can't lock down a game, and they can't hit, really. Those guys, like, as if you look at those guys, that all-star lineup, 260, 260. I mean, I get that. That's good production for an everyday player, but you're going to need a little bit more from
not when the
Fernando
expectations
Tatis.
are 95 to 100 wins.
Exactly. You're going to need more from Fernando Tatis, Juan Soto, Manny Machado. If you're going to win the National League West, it's the only way. But they're sitting in 4th place behind the Diamondbacks, Giants, and the 3rd place Dodgers. And then them. The NL West is absolutely messed up right now, and they better figure it out soon, or they're not even going to be in the playoff talks. Crazy. And a little bit more about the AL West. I have 2 question marks in my surprise negative teams. One of them's the Dodgers, because what's happening right now? And another one's the Astros, because what's happening there too? 2 teams that are just known for their recent hosts our regular season dominance. Both teams that win 100 games every single year are sputtering at the time. I mean, their dominance is just unquestioned every single year. And now it's like big. Both teams are 3-10 their last 15 games.
I think for the Dodgers, it's not the same Dodgers team we're used to. It's still got some household names. Their pitching staff obviously is not the same. There's some aging vets. I don't think Bueller's throwing an inning. You have some shining spots. Bobby Miller's looked amazing. And their bullpen is not awful. You have some guys who just,
It hasn't been great though.
but you have some guys who can turn it on, and Bruce Targarro can go the next 3 months of the season and not let up a run. That's how filthy his stuff is.
Yes.
I think you could table the Dodgers aside because they're right there. They're in and out of that playoff picture. For the Astros, it's a bigger deal. Where I think the Astros have more. There are expectations on the Dodgers, but the Astros, like, the expectations are from them because it's still we don't like the Astros from the 2017 roster. There's still enough guys there that you don't end up rooting for. Yeah. And if you go around that roster, you can pinpoint every place where they're failing to execute, where it makes sense that they are where they're at in the standings. Like Altuve starting the season on the DL because of the broken thumb immediately puts them behind.
Yep.
Jose Abreu not homering until he goes to Oakland 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, and then sprinting around the bases. Yeah, that's great camaraderie that he hit his first home run of the season. Still his first home run of the season.
He's getting a little hotter.
Jordan Alvarez out with an oblique injury. Michael Brantley not being in the lineup, extending it. Kyle Tucker not being the same hitter that they thought he was going to be and that he was showing in the World Baseball Classic. Their center field production last year from Chas McCormick and Jake Myers, non-existent. Even Jeremy Pena, he hasn't come back to form. Like, you can look all around it. Framber Valdez is that team's MVP of keeping them in the season.
Yep.
That man is so fun to watch.
He's lights out. That guy's lights out. So the Astros, speaking of those Astros, and you're saying it's way more, like you're saying it's a bigger problem that they're looking at right now. It's more of a whole team thing there. I still think with them, as much as I'm tired of them and I'm ready for a different team, I think that it's still the Astros. They still have that dominant pitching staff, even though McCullers isn't going to throw a pitch this year. Javier's hurt.
Yep.
they still have those guys that I think are going to keep them in games. And if their offense comes around, they're still going to be dangerous.
I think no matter what, it's the name on the back of the jersey, it's the stats on the back of the card. Everything ends up evening out at some point. You just can't fall so far behind to the Rangers, who we didn't talk about in the great surprises, even though they've spent the money to not be a surprise. And the Angels, who at some point, having the best two players arguably on the planet, you're going to find your way to put more wins in the win column than you did the previous year.
Yep.
Like, if the Astros sneak into the playoffs as the last seed, the last wild card team, they run the table.
That's dangerous.
I have no doubts about that.
That's dangerous.
But you have to keep yourself in it long enough to be there.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so now let's move now into like a little bit more of divisional talk, divisional race talk. So let's start with, I have the Central Struggles as my headline. So that's both the AL and the NL Central at the time, because basically every team in both Central, the American League and the National League Central, is struggling, except for the Reds. Basically every single team. And Reds and the Cubs, actually. Those are really the only two teams that are playing decent baseball right now. Everyone else, especially in the American League Central, is struggling.
That's tough divisional left with so much talent.
So much talent. So like I said, the Twins just went 2 under 500, and they lead that division. The Guardians are not doing what they should be doing. You know, they got a walk-off win. They're playing the series against us right now.
Yeah.
So that's going to be 3. They'll be right back in the mix. I just think that Central, it needs to be pointed up again. I said this earlier, but this is too crazy for me to not mention again. The Twins are 36 and 38, leading the division by 2 games, or game and a half. Sorry.
Yep.
The Red Sox are 39 and 35. They're in last place in the American League East. They're 3.5 games better than the Twins.
Yep.
And they're the last team in the American League East. That just tells you how bad the Central is and how good that AL East is. That's unheard of. That's ridiculous. Unbelievable. But going back to the National League Central, I think this is going to be maybe the most exciting division to watch, the race at least, to watch in the league.
I would say the entire National League landscape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody separated themselves as far as the wild card's concerned. And you have an NL East at some point. The Mets will get into it. The Braves will have to slow their roll. If the Marlins can stay hot. If the Phillies can put it all together after the All-Star break, you have your race there. The National League Central, like, even if the Cardinals get back into it, you have 3 or 4 teams that are right there at the top ready to compete. And the West that we keep talking about, how long do the Diamondbacks stay relevant? How much of spoilers do the Rockies play in all the divisional games? And those 3 teams that all have actual expectations.
How did the Dodgers bounce back? How the Padres bounce back?
So National League's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, all of this is, no one's put themselves so far away like the Rays did early in the season.
Yep.
To say like, oh, I don't need to watch that. They'll close it down. Like,
yeah.
Well, everything is going to be pretty interesting the second half of the season.
Yep. And so speaking of the Diamondbacks, surprise leaders in the West, they're out of nowhere. But the American League West, the Rangers are killing it. They're arguably the best team in baseball.
Yep.
The best offense in baseball. They score 6 runs a game. They're unbelievable. They say tied the 1939 Yankees for the most games, scoring 10 or more runs in their team's first 65.
Yeah.
That's like the Joe DiMaggio Yankees, right? That's
closing out.
Yeah, that's like big deal. So this Rangers team is way, way better than people thought. And while the Astros struggle, they're sitting in first place, and the Angels are in second place over there.
Yeah.
So right now, Houston's on the outside looking in. And for the first time ever, we could potentially have a Shohei Ohtani postseason sighting, which is what every single baseball fan needs.
Wants that, needs that.
Wants it, needs it.
And if they don't get it this year, he's going to sign some big contract to get it.
Yeah. And his last 2 weeks, it's like he just took a new potion, and now he's back. Like he's leading the league in home runs. He's got an OPS over 1,000. He just got a win on the mound against the Rangers, this best team in baseball, best team in the American League.
Top 5 in Ks.
Top 5 in Ks. Just got a week pitching tonight against, who they playing today? Playing the Dodgers. Plays tonight against the Dodgers. Crazy. This guy just does everything he possibly can.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of stuff going on this last half of the season. I can't wait to see what happens. And I hope Ohtani makes that playoffs. I really hope so. And the last couple things. Oh, the Braves. We didn't talk about the Braves at all, really. We talked about the division, but the Braves just will not stop homering. They're just going to homer in every at bat. They're going to homer every time. I think they had 4 home runs in 6 straight games, right?
Something like that. Madison since the new am done.
I miss that guy.
The big donkey.
I miss him. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Get this thing going. Yeah.
Need help signing off?
Yes. Virg, take us out, bro.
Signing off. We'll see you guys next time. Good to have Frankie on. Joe's going to be taking a little leave here and there. He'll jump in when he can. But Frankie's home for the summer from playing college ball. So we'll have Frankie on a lot to talk a lot of baseball. Joe, who's coaching multiple teams and doing a lot of lessons, a lot of clinics. So you can come see him that way. Or you can put in the comments, we want Joe as well as Frankie, and get all of us together.
Oh, yeah.
Talk some sports. So see you guys next time.
Thanks for coming out.
Hey, Jeff.
See you guys.